Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in. I hope you had a wonderful week. I know I did. It's a little cold here. It's quite chilly. We did have a scare for a winter storm, which is winter storm. Let me throw some quotes around that. It's just cold, basically. For the last couple nights, we had below freezing temperatures, which would have been rife for snow and ice and all that stuff. But it's amazing watching, where I currently live in the United States. It's very much, people aren't used to that kind of weather. So they'll just immediately start freaking out over any sort of coldness or maybe like precipitation, some rain, and they'll immediately think it's gonna snow, and it never snowed. It was just a lot of rain. Because me, growing up in the northern part of the United States, knows that it's got to be freezing. It's got to be below freezing, at least, to get some snow, which, yeah, a lot of freak out, not a lot of results, unfortunately. But it would have been cool to see a little bit of snow here and there, but we didn't get it, unfortunately. But hope you all had a wonderful week. Work was work. I mean, it's the first week back for me, so it was very trying to get into the swing of things, very interesting, trying to rev it up again. It's weird because you go, most of the year working or whatever, or in school or whatever, and you hit exam time and after exams, and then you come back to school and you're like, wait, what? I have to do this again? What is this? So it's very much, I had that feeling of like, now how do I sign into the computer? No, not that level, but you know what I mean. It's very it was almost first day feeling, honestly, which is weird, but I got through it. I hope you did as well. We have 5 amazing member requested videos today. We're going to start off with General Hospital, then we're moving on to 6 of Crows, and then we have a Xena video, and then we're checking out a Wheel of Time video. And then we're going to end the stream and the week, I guess, on a 911 video. It's involving Buck and Eddie, a.k.a. Buddy. So if you want to stick around for that, I'd appreciate it. As always, timestamps will be down below in the YouTube description. I do it for every stream, every video that's been longer. I've always done those. So if you want to jump around, you're certainly welcome to. But if you'd like to request a video of your own, you can go ahead and do so. Let's see. Here we go. Let's pull this up. Not sure why it's stuck on there. There we go. Okay. If you'd like to request a video of your own, there we go. I got the right page. You can do so, toddreacts.com. Season and series tiers is how you request. So go ahead and check those out. As you can see, you could save 5% if you pay annually, and the first month, you're going to get $1 off on those as well. If it's your first time joining, enjoy the savings. While you're there, check out the winter collection of merch available right now. It is cold, so these are coming in handy. I actually wore the signature hoodie throughout the airport when I was flying back and forth for the holidays, the family, and everything. It was great. Worked amazingly, and you know what? It's extremely soft. It's not as soft as the hooded long sleeve tee that I'm wearing right now, but it is extremely soft for a hoodie. So I enjoyed it tremendously on the plane. Felt very nice and relaxed, which is exactly what you want to be on a plane. Obviously, I'm wearing the hooded long sleeve right now. I'm wearing the heather navy color option. Obviously, there's a bunch of different options here for you to choose from and look through. Size guide is very handy. All manufacturers are different in their sizing and how they, how it lands on your body and whatnot. So it's good to check these out. It gives you inches and centimeters depending on whichever unit of measurement you use. Looks like the 2XL is currently out of stock. It should be back in stock fairly soon. They do have a pretty quick turnaround on those, but looks like, oh, you know what? It's the heather red specifically. 2XL is out of stock, unfortunately. Looks like the rest of them are in stock, which is good. But yeah, if it's ever out of stock, Just wait around for maybe like a week and it'll be back in stock. It's usually pretty quick. And yeah, this thing is extremely soft. I enjoy it tremendously. I said you could sleep in it, and I am fully supporting that. As with always, quality is guaranteed on every order, every item you order. If there's a print error or visible quality issue, it'll either be replaced or refunded, your choice. So yeah, always like to point that out. That's a very nice guarantee to be able to provide you. Honestly, I've used it before, and it's great. It's really nice. The customer service through the website is tremendous, tremendously responsive, and they take care of you quite well. I had a product actually not show up in time, and they ended up comping the entire shipping and handling, not just for that one item, literally everything. So it was like a multi-item order. And you know, they ship in different timings because the producers produce them at different, you know, intervals and whatnot. But they literally comp the entire shipping and handling. So if you ever have any issue like that, just reach out to the customer service. You'll find it down here at the bottom. Hit the contact page, and it's the top email, contact@support.toddrex.com. They will take care of you. It is phenomenal. First-hand knowledge there. Check out the accessories as well. We have some brand new phone cases. These are the super protective and absorbent ones. They have that rubber interior, and then they have the hard shell over that, so it's doubly protected. Your phones are very expensive. Let's face it, phones are extremely expensive, and it's not something a lot of us want to replace very often. So I highly recommend getting a phone case like this, just to protect your investment, frankly. This is the Samsung version. It comes in glossy or matte, your choice. And it covers the S10 all the way up to the S24 Ultra. So it covers pretty much all of them. I'm pretty sure that's all of them. I haven't checked the Samsung lineup in a minute, but I'm pretty sure that's all of them. We have the iPhone case as well, and it does come with MagSafe as well. So if you enjoy using the little puck chargers, it will still attach, or if you have MagSafe attachments or accessories from Apple or whoever, they will attach. These are available for the 14 all the way up to the brand new 16 Pro Max. So these are definitely for the newer iPhones from the 14 on. And if you have an older iPhone like myself, you get the choice of glossy and matte, and this goes all the way back to iPhone 12, which is literally what I have. And that goes all the way to 15 Pro Max. So there you go. That's just a snap-on. Super easy to snap on, snap off. And I've had cases like this for years. I've dropped my phone multiple times. Thankfully, I have not broken it. So they seem to be doing the trick. We have the rocks glass here with the energy drink of the day, if you will. Actually, not the day, but the stream. The stream. And we have the pint glass as well. No, this is not some like weird grapefruit beer or anything like that. It's actually a margarita. It's a canned margarita. Let's just say it doesn't taste good. It does not taste good at all. It is 100% gross. 10% alcohol, 100% gross. It is not enjoyable. I would not recommend them. Just stick with your normal beverages. Don't be me and try to, oh, this looks interesting. I'll give it a shot. And then you're just like, oh, this is gross. Good thing it's the last one. It has been difficult choking these things down, just really not having a good time at all. But it is what it is. We're making my way through it. Check out the YouTube channel if you haven't already. If you're watching on Twitch if you're watching Twitch live and you haven't checked out the YouTube channel, go ahead and check it out. We're over 1,100 videos at this point. There's a lot of videos, a lot of backlog for you to catch up on. So enjoy. And if you have checked it out and you have not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it greatly. Doesn't mean anything monetarily, but it does mean support for the channel, and it will recommend these videos to you on your home screen much easier, much easier. It'll make sure, hopefully, that you don't miss one. And honestly, it's very much just kind of bolsters the channel a little bit. Maybe people are more willing to check out the channel because it's a higher number. I don't know. I think that's kind of the case. I always check out that number whenever I'm looking at a creator or video that I've never seen before. I always look at that number and just kind of make a quick judgment based on that. So by raising that number and helping me out here, we'll grow the community, which is awesome. And of course, certainly last but not least, we have. Where is it at? Where is it at? Come on. There it is. We have the Discord. The lovely, incredible, amazing Discord. Basically a messaging platform if you've never used it, where we can post anything like memes and pictures and videos and all that kind of stuff. You have different channels that are themed towards certain things. It's the quickest way for me to interact with you as well as the rest of you with each other. What's going on, Shadow King? Welcome in, welcome in. Join the Discord. It's free. It's awesome. Link is everywhere. It's on the website, toddreacts.com. It's on the YouTube channel. It's under every video in the YouTube channel. It's on the Twitch profile as well. So if you're watching on Twitch, you can click on that quickly. Obviously, as you can see at the top, it tells you when we're live, gives you a nice little link to Twitch as well. So if you have the app installed on whatever device you're using, it'll upload the app. And if you don't have the app, it'll just pull up a web browser with the twitch.tv/ToddReacts, and you can watch via that. If you'd like to request a channel, maybe you're into something and you don't see it, you can just go ahead and put it in the request a channel ... channel and do that. Lobby is just kind of general talk. Jace is in there posting the the lineup for stream today. Very handy. Shout out to the mods, by the way. Shout out to the mods. Luke, Jace, Rocco Kitty. I appreciate you all. As you can see, fandom's on the left. Lots of great things to choose from. I'm just going to scroll past. You can pause the video if you want, if you're on YouTube, and check it out. Or you can just join. Totally free. And you can leave at any time. We're not keeping you there. If you don't enjoy it, you can certainly leave. But if you do enjoy it, join the conversations. We'd look forward to it. But yeah, just tired after college. I bet. I remember those days for sure. I've watched a lot of your Doctor Who and Merlin content. It's great. Nice. Very nice. I'm glad you've enjoyed it. I think I have a ton of Doctor Who videos, if I'm not mistaken, over the years. Let's see if I can... Oh my gosh. That says... it says... Let me go ahead and pull that up real quick. That says 80 videos in that playlist. 80 Doctor Who videos. Good Lord. Oh, man. That's wild. And that's why we get comments that say, hey, why don't you just watch the series? It makes sense. There's so many freaking videos in that playlist. Oh, my gosh. So if you haven't seen it and you want to see it, check it out. I just used the search function here on desktop. They need to bring this to the app. They definitely need to bring this to the app where you can search directly on the channel. I'm so bummed that they don't have that. But yeah, if you're looking for playlists, you just hit the playlist tab and there's a bunch of them. A lot. And they just keep going and going and going and going. But yeah, check it out. There is a couple of live streams as well for the 2 live streams I did on YouTube before they took me down. It did not take very long. It was a Smosh video, and the live stream got pulled. And I was like, okay, Twitch permanently, and YouTube just gets the uploads. So yeah, if you're wondering how it works, that's how it works. So yes, join the Discord today. Awesome place. Compared to my like 2 Doctor Who edits, right? Did you ever react to Shadowhunters? Yeah, I did. Quite a few edits of Shadowhunters. Yeah, actually, let's see. Got about 6 in the playlist currently. There might be more than that, actually, now that I think about it. Wonder if I added all those to the playlist. But yeah, if you just click on the playlist. Hey everybody, welcome back to another reaction
Maybe
video.
don't play
This
the
one
video, but
is
hold on a second.
Shadowhunters.
There we go.
Oh my gosh.
That's what I was looking for. So that kind of lists out all the different... Can I turn myself off here? There we go. Jeez. All right, there you go. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. So check it out. Lots of great stuff there, certainly. All right. Go ahead and get started here. First off, we're going to have the General Hospital video. Would have loved some Liverpool edits reactions. Oh, the football club. Right. I think I've done a few football club videos. I haven't done Liverpool. Here. Okay, the first video is called Star and James. We did do a Star video last time called Mess is Mine. Mess is Mine. Go ahead and bring this up. I think that's going to be fine. Oh, it was set up like a TikTok video. Okay. I have to move it over just a little bit. There we go. Top videos I watched from before my mod era to early mod era was the Shadow and Bone, Bridgerton, Umbrella Academy videos. Yeah, absolutely. Those were, boy. I had obviously heard of Bridgerton. I love period pieces, so that was like right up my alley. So seeing that first one was amazing. Shadow and Bone I had never heard of. Umbrella Academy, I think I maybe had heard of. But Shadow and Bone was a complete no idea what this is. Those are always my favorite for some reason. I don't know why. It's just going into it. Because I usually go into I always go into these without seeing it usually. Some of them I have seen. Like when we did the Spartacus video. Obviously, I've seen Spartacus. That's something I talk about fairly often. But going into the ones where I haven't even heard of the show or whatever, or the band, it is something else. It is very interesting. It's kind of a rush where you get that like, wow, this is the first time I've ever heard of this, seen it. I have no idea what to expect. I can't even tell based on the title of it. It's just amazing. I know on Umbrella Academy, you did the first episode reaction on the website. Yes, that is true. That was requested. The first episode, you should be able to check out what episodes are on the website via the sneak peek page. If you go to members only and scroll down to the sneak peek page, that should have a list. Wow. Did you spent 10 hours watching? That's an interesting stat. That is an interesting stat. Dang. It's been a minute. I think I've done like 90 streams so far. That number is shocking to me. Absolutely shocking. I still can't believe that because it feels like yesterday I started this. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. General Hospital, Star and James, Mess is Mine. Let's go.
I'm James. When two people are supposed to be together, you do what it takes to make it happen.
Talking like we used to do.
By the way, this is Vance Joy, V-A-N-C-E, V-A-N-C-E, Joy. Mess is Mine is the song.
It was always me and you, shaping up and shipping out. Check me in and check me out.
Jace's is probably very long.
Do you like warm
I had to see you.
rain? When you think of
Oh
me,
yeah, Riptide's a great song.
Forever. For start.
you can tell me
I'm not gonna
what
forget you when this is all done.
I will
Being on the
choose
run with you
what
was one of the highlights of my life.
Hold on, darling. This body is yours. This body is yours and mine. Well, hold on, my darling. This mess was yours.
Finally rid of that maniac.
Now your mess is mine. Your mess is mine. See you in the marketplace, walking round at 8 a.m.
They want me to fly to LA and start as soon as possible.
Before my flight.
What about James? James wished me well
Be on
and
my side
I'm
tonight.
gonna miss you so much.
You're the reason that
You've got that kick-ass thing.
James, he doesn't trust that crazy girl, so maybe he'll find us, right?
you gave me all the time. Well, did I give enough of mine? Hold on.
This is such a radically different feeling video from Star and her father that we watched last time. That was an interesting relationship.
If you're hurt, I'm hurt. But you don't have to be strong for me. Let me be strong for you.
Now your mess is mine. Your mess is mine. Your mess is mine. Bring me to your house. Tell me sorry for the mess. Hey, I don't mind.
It is easy listening for sure.
Well, you still make sense to me. Your mess is mine.
I love you.
Your mess is mine. This body's yours and this
That is true. That is definitely true. I think
Goodbye, James.
Goodbye, Star.
I touched on the fact that just watching some of these older shows and the quality of the video is just unbelievable how far we've come in technology. That is just wild. I mean, we were so used to the polygon, like the messy noise of all this. Like, look how blurry that is. That is unbelievably blurry. Oh my gosh. And we used to think that was perfectly fine. Like, there's no skin tone to that at all. Like, there's no like blemishes, nothing. You can't see anything. It's all smooth. Oh my gosh. Total contrast to my music taste. Very depressing. Yeah. I do listen to quite an array of music. It can touch on this kind of music, but it can also go crazy. Just depends on the mood, I suppose. Yeah, that's unbelievable. What a contrast between Star and James and Star and her father. Oh my gosh. That story got so crazy. I'll go ahead and throw that a like. Literally the 14th like on that video. Only 581 views. Wow. Well, Link down below in the YouTube description for the original video. You can go throw it some love yourself. Also check out the channel. They might have other videos that you might be interested in. You never know. So check it out. Oh my gosh. Just the caring nature, the willingness to go above and beyond, the empathy, etc. Like, it's just beautiful. 2010s to 2024 is a giant leap in picture quality. Yeah, absolutely. Now, where we're going with like 8K and 10K and, 16K, and I think we're getting a little ridiculous. Like, at a certain point, you're not going to be able to tell 1K from another. Like, as soon as 4K came out and I saw it, I was like, wow, this looks 3D almost. Like, it's clear, it's beautiful, it's got kind of like a depth to it. Certainly LED TVs or OLED TVs are like next level. Just beautiful. The blacks are black because they turn off the individual pixels. Like, it's stunning to see. But after seeing the 4K and then seeing an 8K television, I'm like, what is the difference here? There is no difference. Of course, the OLEDs are pretty freaking expensive still. We got to wait for those to come down a little bit. But TVs nowadays are so cheap. So cheap. Oh my gosh. I bought mine. I think I bought it like almost a decade ago for almost $800 US. And it's a 50 inch, 55 inch? No, it's a 50 inch. Curved 4K, LCD, like it's not even LED. And now you can get those for what, $250 or something like that. Like, they're just so dirt cheap. I don't know why televisions got so cheap, but I guess the technology's to the point where it's easy to make, and they're just so cheap. We went with QLED, though, which is better in my opinion. Yeah, probably. 50 inch is about 300 to 600. Yeah. Yes. Isn't that crazy? Back in the day, that would have been, 1,000. 2,000. Unbelievably nuts. Like, if you compare the GH video today to Six of Crows 911, you can see the difference massively. Yeah, absolutely. OLED, you're talking about 1,000. Yeah, exactly. It's unbelievable how cheap those are. And way back in the day with the plasmas, remember those? Those were like thousands of dollars. Thousands. 2,000, 3,000. Like, those were cutting edge technology, so it was just crazy expensive. But yeah, just unbelievably cheap nowadays. Well, cheap. Not like you can go down to the corner store and get one for, a tenner or something, or $10. But they're not that bad compared to what they used to be. For sure. Let's go ahead and pull up some information on Star, fictional character from the daytime drama One Life to Live. Born on screen on, January 1996. 2 days ago. Wow. The role was initially portrayed by an infant. Well, there you go. In 98, Star was rapidly aged when the young actress debuted in the childhood role, which retconned. What does that even mean? Retroactive continuity, literary device in which facts in a world of a fictional work that have been established through the narrative itself are adjusted, ignored, supplemented, or contradicted by a subsequent published work. Ah. So they changed the birth year to 92 instead of 96. Following the cancellation of One Life to Live, carried the role over to ABC's last remaining soap opera, General Hospital. That's so weird that they jumped. It's so strange. That is very odd that they jumped it from one show to the other. Oldest child, of Todd Manning. It's an unfortunate name. But yeah, that video we lost. Yeah. Good God. Can I talk? My brain is fried from work. The last video we watched on last stream on Monday between Star and Todd Manning was unbelievable. The amount of gross twists and turns in that plot was just unbelievable. You know, probably played out in a soap opera or whatever. It's a little different because you got other stories going on and it takes a while to, you know, bring these things to life. But reading it in the just one after the other was shocking. Shocking. Like kidnapped, diagnosed with something, returns from being on the run, father's not the father she thinks he is, and then all of a sudden the twin brother or something comes into the picture, pretends to be the father, accusations of grape. Like, we're talking just an just reading through this is crazy. Like the worst or the craziest or the best short story you've ever read. Just reading all these. So we went over Star last week or last stream, so I don't think we have to do it now. So if you'd like to check it out, go check out the last stream. James Ford, fictional character on the ABC daytime show One Life to Live. Last scene was in 2012. That checks out with the 2010 to 2024, doesn't it? With the TV quality. According to James, he and his brother were raised in Dayton, Ohio. Father's a criminal. I mean, that's classic soap opera stuff. Who runs a chop shop, so chops up cars. Forces James into his crew when he's only 15. Their father's abusive. But Robert manages to get a scholarship for film school and moves to California, leaving James in his father's hands. James decides he wants out, so he steals 50 grand, 50,000 US dollars from his father and hides it. That's good. You really want to steal money from a known criminal. I don't care if it's your father. That's not good advice. That's not good advice. His nickname was Buddy Boy. Oh, Lord. Buddy Boy. It's insane, but not uncommon for soap dramas. That's true. That is very true. Father sends one of his thugs, Bull, after James. Well, there you go. That's why you don't do it. James is first seen as a stranger talking to Star about the problems in their lives. Later that day, James is revealed to be the little brother of Robert Ford, Buddy Boy, who was nearly beaten to death. James's voice helps Ford regain consciousness. When police come in to question his brother, James leaves and bumps into Bull. Yikes. James finds his way into the parking garage where he bumps into Star, who's having car trouble. After fixing her car, Bull finally catches up to him, and James demands that Star get in the car with him. As they speed away, Star loses her purse. Oh boy. So now Bull knows exactly where she lives, which is not good. James shows up again when he realizes that Bull is after Star, right, as he would be, to escape to her Aunt Vicky's cabin, where James opens up about his abusive criminal father, tells her that he stole 50,000 US dollars from his father so he wouldn't have to work for his dad. That's not going to last forever. And some people spend that very quickly. Star and James decide the only way to get the money is to steal a car worth as much as he owes Bull. Oh, gotcha. After stealing the car, the two end up in a car wreck. Well, that's unfortunate. After Star's attempt to keep James from hitting an animal sends them into a tree. Oh, good grief. Though both of them are okay, the car isn't worth anything at that point. Yeah, that makes sense. James decides to turn himself into Bull, promising to work off the money he owes. Though he tells her to stay away, Stars follows him to the abandoned barn where he is meeting Bull. Star's father, Todd, arrives with $50,000 in exchange for his other daughter, Danny's boyfriend, Nate Salinger. Oh, fancy seeing you here. As the situation starts to unravel with Bull and Todd fighting, well, that's not good. James picks up a shovel, attempting to knock Bull out as Star grabs Bull's gun and accidentally shoots James. Oh, gosh. She shot him. Oh, fortunately, James makes it through surgery, and shortly after, he tells Star he has feelings for her. I mean, that's interesting. Imagine hitting on and making a move on somebody who just shot you, and you're in the hospital bed. That's fascinating. Star tells James that they can never see one another again. I mean, that was probably very traumatic, I'm assuming. James later learns that Nate's brother Inez, or mother Inez, is the mother who abandoned him and Bobby when they were kids. Wait, what? He then begins dating Langston Wild to make Star jealous. Star, James, and Langston all enroll in Landview University around the same time and are surprised to learn that Ford is teaching a class that they are all taking when Star learns that Robert that her mother's fiance, Elijah Clark, is actually a serial killer. Oh my gosh. And her boyfriend, Cole, knew about it. She's furious. James gets to comfort her. Oh my gosh. James also loses his chance on education once Ford gets fired from his teaching position. Thanks to Clint Buchanan, Ford got his job back after Clint made a call to the dean, and James was able to stay in school. Oh, pretended to give Ford a second chance and secretly had photos taken of the two of them making out and sent it to the dean. Yikes. Star, Danny, and Hope are kidnapped. There's always a kidnapping, isn't there? Always. Always a kidnapping. Is that so they can go away and do a different show? Is that so they can get like some PTO, some vacation time, holiday time? What is that? When Hannah goes through with her plans to get rid of Star and Hope for good, wait, what? James catches on and decides to handle it. He finds Star trapped in an attic of Hannah's home in Delaware. Hannah has them dress up in Halloween costumes and takes them to the cemetery where she forces them to dig their own graves at gunpoint. She knocks James out and makes Star bury him alive. Wow. As Hannah is about to bury Star, James rises from the grave. Rises from the grave like The Undertaker, if you're familiar with World Wrestling Entertainment. That's so funny. And distracts Hannah long enough for Star to bash her unconscious with a shovel. Well, there you go. There you go. Use your own tool that you use to bury your loved one to bash somebody in the head. That'll do, as they say. Don't forget when they do the fake death, then either months later or a year, boom, I'm alive, right? Right, that's true. The two subsequently turn her into the police. When Cole kills Elijah, believing that Star and Hope were trapped in the building he just blew, James tries to help Star and Cole run. Cole turns himself in and is sentenced to 10 years in prison, and Star is heartbroken. But James is there to comfort her. Isn't he, though? Isn't he? Hasn't he always been there to comfort her? And tries to help her forget about her problems. I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did. Oh my gosh. Bobby and James are forced to let him live when Eddie shows up with them because James will go to jail for stealing the 50 grand from him. Eddie picks up right where he left off and continues terrorizing James. August 10th, 2011, James and Star make love for the first time. Mark it down. Mark it down in your calendars. Anyway, lots of interesting things there. Good grief. Fictional couple first started dating in March 2011, broke up in January 2012 due to Star still having feelings for Cole. Ex-lovers. Yikes. Here's a random user. I don't like Star being with James at all because he's not the right person that Star should be with, and I want to see Star be with Michael. They are perfect for each other. Written in 2014, 2 years after that show got canned. I don't think you're going to see either of them with anybody at this point, honestly. But yes, very good. Obviously, soap dramas, soap operas, whatever you want to call them, are full of twists and turns, craziness, as we just read. I mean, kidnapping, always, it's like a go-to. I'm assuming you only have so many different plot devices that you can incorporate. You know, murder, kidnapping, grape, you know, inherited money causing family issues, some form of abuse of some kind, you know, cheating, of course, divorce, you know, like you only have so many different plot lines. And the fact that these soap operas, soap dramas last for decades, you're going to reuse quite a few of them. But that being said, the storyline between Star and her father is phenomenal. Just from reading it on Monday's stream, it was absolutely wild and interesting, and I kept reading because it was so good. I couldn't put it down. I couldn't turn away from it. It was amazing. So, oh my gosh. That's kind of interesting that they took a character from one show, that show ended, and they brought it to a different show. That's kind of interesting. Like, clearly that character was well loved for that to occur. Or maybe they just felt like that character had so many loose ends that they could just continue working on a story there. I don't know, but I can't think of many times that's occurred where it's just like, well, that show's over. All right, let's move them over here. Like, that's kind of interesting, honestly. Let's go ahead and jump into the next video. It is a Luke exclusive. 6 of Crow's TikTok edits because we deserve better, and so did they. I've done a few 6 of Crow edits. I've reacted to a few. Been phenomenal. I've liked it better than, frankly, the Shadow and Bone edits that I've seen, which is interesting. The show within the show, basically. It would be nice if they got a spinoff. I can't remember if they will or won't, or who knows. But it would be nice, frankly. They already have like a show like built into the show that they could easily do it. I guess it just depends on numbers, right? Scripts were done, but it wasn't greenlit. Oh my gosh. That's insane. What was their thinking there? Like, oh, the main show didn't do very well, so we'll just skip that. It might have done better, honestly. If they repackaged it, sold it as its own thing, you know, it might have done better. Who knows? Which is so sad because they greenlight a lot of things that shouldn't be green. It's unfortunate. Go ahead and bring that up. Let's go ahead and move it over into the TikTok position, which is literally just moving it over. We don't cut anything off. There we go. Hopefully that works.
We wear red so they don't see us bleed. $100 bills under our sleeve. We intend not to sleep till we're dead. Drink
Season 1 was great. Season 2 was good, but pacing was all over the place. But it still deserved Season 3 wrap up plus the spinoff. Yeah. I mean, they have something with the 3 of them. Or, well, the 6 of Crows. They have something.
Cause if you mess with me, you're messing with my family.
The Crows actually do. Yeah, right. The fact they have 2 books to work off of, I mean, that should be enough, right? Should be enough for a spin-off. Cheers. Happy Friday. Main issue with the crows is the fact that Matthias was still in jail, so we didn't give him and Nina a resolution. Oh, God. Only two that got some sort of happy ending was Jesper and Ryland. Two great characters, just from what I've seen. But yeah, that's too bad. I mean, we could probably go on for hours talking about the decisions that are made and why they make it and some of the bonehead moves. Like, oh gosh, I don't even want to get into it. It'll just make me mad. I think we have last time. Yeah. It's been like a little trail of me being annoyed with Hollywood and decisions that are made basically throughout this entire channel. That being said, there is still a lot of good quality content out there. You just have to find it and be willing to part with it, basically. Then I had a whole list of shows that deserve better, yeah.
Rebecca Rollins, the king of the barrel.
The barrel doesn't belong to kings. It belongs to bastards.
Belongs to bastards. It seemed like they allowed Umbrella Academy to just kind of fade, honestly. Going only 6 episodes and apparently they weren't good at all. Like, that is brutal. The bastard of barrel.
It's all the same down in the capital, all the suits and clouded feet.
Happy Thoughts is people still make crow edits? Nice.
No loud noises at the table, Jesper. Scare off the pigeons. We can hear a whisper here.
What's an interesting point that Craig Ferguson made on his last episode of Late Night is he said something that was so poignant, and he goes, look, I see this as art, TV shows, whatever, and it's out there into the world. I'm putting it out there. It's yours. Do with it what you will, which was so cool because that kind of encapsulates what these edits are. It's art that's being taken, reimagined, and it's yours to play with. You know, have fun with it. And it can never be taken away. Ever. It's already been broadcast. It's already out there for the public, you know? It's very cool. You can continue making edits of shows that haven't been on in 30 years. You can make stuff that just got canceled or whatever, and you can make it last forever.
Desperation? Was it just the knowledge that if one or all of them disappeared tonight, no one would come looking?
I mean, you can literally be like me, discover this show right as it's about to get canceled, basically, and you watch this and you're just like, oh, what is this? Oh, I gotta see this. And then you get somebody else interested in the show. You just grow the fan base, even though it's no longer a thing. And of course, if you watch the show, you can enjoy the heck out of these. Great puts a new twist on things sometimes. Make things appear like it was in the show, but it wasn't in the show. Two Crows books are some of the best fantasy ever made. Nice. I have got to get back into reading. I've put it off for so long. Obviously, when I first started the channel, it was all this. Like, literally, I didn't get to 1,100 videos by doing anything else. So it's just, now that I have a little bit more time to, you know, function, I should start reading again.
It's a drug called
I have a ton of books. Ready to go. Just need to give it time.
The chemist who created it fled to Kirch once he realized what he'd done. The feelings caught him.
What's cool about the Crow
He now
books
always
is
tries
each
to
chapter
learn.
is a different character, story point of view. That's awesome. That's cool. It's cool because you don't feel like you're missing out.
I for one love the
To be clear, I trust you as Kaz trusts you.
And you trust Kaz?
Alright, that got me. That was good. That was a wonderful comeback. Completely called out.
It's literally so exhausting being the most cut bitch in the world. Like, honestly, I don't know what to do because I'm literally such a fashion icon. I'm a fashion.
Desma was like, damn, he's right. It doesn't happen a lot, but when you're in Jesper's
to gang
position
up on
there,
you, but
ooh, it hurts.
Jess has a
It hurts.
point.
It was like,
Our
dang, I got
system is
called out
complicated
so
and the
bad.
word was
And he's
chaotic.
right.
No one would blame me for missing a count.
Jess.
It's Sully for friendship.
No, it's not.
Here's what I don't get.
We're gonna be here all night. You make this a lot harder.
I miss me too.
All right, that one's kind of sad.
You make this a lot harder, you know.
I know. I miss me too. I'm fantastic.
Jess.
It's Sully for friendship.
No, it's not.
We're in the worst place in the world, on a ship full of people who want us dead. Oh, Milo.
Who's Milo?
I wonder if it would allow me to do watch time. Is that something I could do? Because that would be kind of funny. That would tell me how many hours I've streamed, at least.
I need your help.
I probably can't do it.
Doing what?
I need you to kill a man for me.
Oh, why me?
Oh, God.
But how's getting me to do it any day?
Oh, my gosh. 3 days, 18 hours watching Todd reacts.
Like I said, of course.
Whoa. That's funny. I've streamed for over 3 days, almost 4 days total.
I said,
Wow.
excuse me, but I have a delivery and I can't read the directions.
I like having her around.
Oh, was I not supposed to say that out loud?
I, for one, love that you did.
Wyland was covered in dust and wearing a slightly dazed, deliriously happy expression. Nina started to laugh. Try to look like you knew it would work.
Harness your hopes on just one person because you know a harness was only made for one.
I too would like to know the plan.
Your passes, you'll end up with molasses.
Can I get anyone some tea?
I've probably said this before, but the costuming here is just wonderful. And it's the accents too. It's the makeup to make them look like, you know, they haven't
Just
washed
girls?
in a few
No,
days.
not just girls.
Make them look a
I
little
flirt with
rugged.
the women
you
too.
know? It's all beautifully done. Imagine their one-liners in the show, but imagine reading it
She'd
through
fight
the
with
books.
everything she
Yeah.
had to free Inish, even if she was still in the grips of Parem.
I'm sure you've done this before, but reading a people are just looking at you staring at a book.
Nina would never let Kaz abandon her. She'd fight with everything she had to free Inish, even if she was still in the grips of Parem.
Benny loved you like he loved no one. The way she laughed and hold a smoking gun. The way she always said what's done is done. And he's not the only one. Love is a gentle thing. Yours is thicker than a velvet ring. Yours is thicker than
That's funny.
You were on the boat with us when was Kerbo. You were with the funny guns in the angry hat.
Perfect when the world's not kind. If we have each other, then we'll both be fine. I will be your lover and I'll hold your hand. You should know I'll be there for you.
I found love in the strangest place. Tied up and branded, locked in a cage. I say I'm gonna stage a great escape. Let loose the love all and not be painfully out of place.
Right. It's amazing to
I'll secure my passport.
it's amazing to think about, you know, past and future generations, and you know, people used to live, you know, way back when, and I'm sure they thought about the
He thought he
future,
measured his
and
hand
we're
on his
thinking about the future.
His mind had gone jagged at the sensation.
They probably
the riot
never
of
would have guessed
confusion.
that, you
It had
know,
been terror
we'd be
and
using the
disgust
internet
and all of that clamor,
computers, and
desire,
all
a
that
wish
crazy
that lingered
stuff.
still.
Like
The hope
somehow
that she would touch him again.
you're seeing me live from thousands of miles away. And it's just, it's really interesting to think back to, you know, older generations thinking about the future, and us thinking about the future, like what's it going to be like. I always think that whenever I'm watching these period pieces, because everyone's dressed so differently. It's not the same world that we're living in. What were their dreams? What were their, you know, fears of the future? What did they think about the people in the past?
We fight our way out together.
Now you hang from my lips like the gardens of Babylon. With your boots beneath my bed, forever is the sweetest home. I had some tricks up my sleeve. It takes one, two.
That is kind of cool how they're basically an island of misfit toys, if you will. And they somehow come together and work together quite well.
Just say, are you worried about me?
That is kind of the human condition. You know, if we're willing to, doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, whatever, you're able to work together and figure things out. Obviously, the biggest hurdle there is just getting over the fact that
Yeah, but so what?
people are
Everybody's
different.
weird.
I want to stand with you in front of all the determa ox things to come.
That is the kindest thing that anyone's ever done for me.
How do you think it tastes?
Like tea.
Yes, but is it floral, bitter, mildly sweet with notes of buttery?
Kaz is like, just drink the tea.
You've been quiet. Ready?
Oh.
Isn't that right? Waffles.
Bombastic side eye.
Kaz, if not saints, what do you believe in?
Myself.
Why'd I even ask?
And you.
I'm sure that was a heck of a moment.
And Jasper. My crows.
My
crows
crows.
don't just remember the faces of people who wronged them. They also remember those who are kind. They tell each other who to look after and who to watch out for.
You know what's crazy is I'm thinking about what they would think about the internet and everything. And just their absolute perplexity to like, huh? You do what now? You sit in front of what? A screen? And now I'm thinking about like, what is something in the future that's going to be a normal place? And we would be like,
Why do you guys say that? Why isn't it just good luck or be safe?
that's normal?
We like to keep our expectations low.
Whenever I do close videos, I always try to include the book moments quotes. Yeah, that's important. I always like the fact that, you know, certain moments or certain character traits and whatnot line up with the book or the play. I get writers try to be original and not throw spin on things. It's nice to, if you're a fan of it, to see basically this thing that you read come to life, other than your own imagination.
Everything I would do, you were standing there by my side, and now you gonna be with me for the last ride.
That was the biggest. I know it's ridiculous and silly, but that was the biggest complaint a lot of people had with the 50 Shades of Grey series, the movies, is that everybody reading that book had their own interpretation of who Christian Grey was. You know, if they were interested in Christian Grey or they liked the fantasy, they all had their own interpretation of who the heck that guy was. And obviously how, I can't remember the name. What was the name of the girl? It was Christian Grey and oh gosh. I can't remember. But anyway, everyone had their own interpretation, and when the actor was announced, I think it's Jamie Dornan or something, a lot of people were just like, ugh. That was a no-win situation for that actor. No win, because everybody has their own interpretation and how that character looks, feels, whatever. So it's just kind of one of those situations where it can be cool to be, you know, adapting a book, but sometimes it's just gonna not work out. Where people will be like, I don't agree with that decision. It's an unfortunate reality. Especially when it's involving that kind of content.
Right to tell you what you should do with your shot at freedom.
You make this a
Like Robert Pattinson being casted as the Batman.
I need your help.
A lot of people had thoughts about that. Ben Affleck,
I know what Cass thinks,
certainly.
I'll ask you what you think.
One company?
I don't know if people had any hesitation towards Christian Bale, but definitely Ben Affleck and Robert Pattinson.
The day you die is just like every other day. You don't see death coming or hear its approach. Death doesn't care about fleeing your demons or making amends for them. It cares only that this is your time, your day to die.
I mean, yeah. It comes for us all, right? At whatever time. That's crazy. Oh, gosh. That is very true. Sometimes it's an accident. Sometimes, you know, it's a disease. Body gives up, whatever. It is very odd.
And which two are those?
The whole concept
Those
of death
defending
is
their
so
happy ever
strange.
after.
But I get it, right? Born into the world, you gotta exit the world
And
somehow.
those who don't know how to find the way to one.
One thing I wish people talked about more is the scene
Sounds
in
like
season
someone else I
2
know.
when they were under
I feel
hallucinogenic
peace with this
gas.
I'm not giving up on my happy ever after.
Jesper had a dream-like vision of his dead mother who taught Jesper how to shoot his guns using his powers. When she died, that's why his powers from the world his powers from the world because he saw them as a curse. Oh, okay. Also, his father told him to mention the books. Gaz is smart, though, and found out what kept Jesper secret. Interesting. Huh. That's interesting. Why he hid his powers from the world. Huh.
Stay. Stay and get to them. Stay with me.
Everything in her wanted to say yes, but she would not settle for so little. Not after all she'd been through.
And what would be the point?
I want you to. I want you.
Oh,
And
dang.
how will you have me?
He looked at her then, eyes fierce, mouth set. It was the face he wore when he was fighting.
Gloves on, fully clothed. Your head turned, so our lips never touch.
He released her hand, his shoulders bunching, his gaze angry and ashamed.
I will have you without your armor, Gasper. Or I will not have you at all.
Speak, she begged silently. Give me a reason to stay. For all his selfishness and cruelty, Kaz was still the boy who had saved her. She wanted to believe he was worth saving too. Inedge left Kaz with the wind howling and dawn still a long while away.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Home.
Oh,
sweet
that
home.
scene. That scene is
No one
brutal.
was waiting to kill us as soon as we arrived. Yay!
We're accused of murdering Tante Helene.
Wait, what? Wait, did you do that? Hat.
Basically,
You were with
Magneto.
the funny guns and the angry
Really?
hat.
Can I get anyone some tea?
Dang.
I had some really nice hats in there.
Yes, I too would like to know the plan.
Oh my gosh, that scene was crazy. Crazy. I've seen that before, obviously.
Is Inez going to be okay?
You're going to say you can't do this without me.
Been a while.
And that you hate it when we're angry at each other, but sometimes brothers fight. And that when all this is over, you're going to open a tab for me at a club of my choosing. That's what you're going to say.
We like to keep our expectations low.
Ready? Is that my hat?
We hate that hat.
I'd rather push you away than admit he feels anything for you. Oh, was I? You're not
Do you
supposed to say that
manipulate
out
people's
loud.
hearts?
I,
Body
for
temp?
Love that you did.
Yeah, I hate this app. You may be even older than the last time.
Technically, you are older than last time.
How do you think it tastes?
Like tea.
Like tea.
In private, he's all hands. Isn't that right? Waffles.
You don't seriously expect me to break into this woman's house.
Why do you think we're here?
I'll go with Nina.
Are you sure you don't need me?
Everyone's lost their mind. My demolitions expert.
Expert? I mean, yes, expert.
Yes!
Man, I mean, we haven't actually put a label on it yet.
Who did that?
We should hire a writer to jot down our story. What would we call it?
Well,
The Four Charming Rogues of Ketterdam.
Yes. There's 5 of us.
That's funny.
Is that videos of you dancing?
They don't
Or singing?
exist.
But me and you had a game and I
Yeah, you cheated, remember?
I did not cheat. I did.
How do I look so hot? Hashtag cook Milo. What?
What? I mean, you've been through worse, haven't you?
Yeah, it's a good theory, but wrong.
I'd probably like to have a go with Nina.
Yeah. Ready and waiting for you, baby. Ready and waiting.
Next flank. But they found the only two on the internet.
Still precious moments.
Just one little kiss and then dance.
Time.
Kate's come dressed as his favourite dessert.
I just think that that's
One more
like
downstairs kiss.
Nina.
Jasper Favy, layered. While in
Wait, how many problems did they say to you?
Don't be bitter, be better.
You're a bad saucy bitch. You're a Scorpio.
Listen, this is about you.
Does Casbreaker have powers?
I think so.
My wife.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
My wife.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I've seen and reacted to quite a few of their interviews. Very entertaining cast. Whoever they get along very well. They don't mind a little teasing each other. Nina was exposed to a drug in the books that they went to steal from people planning to use it for bad aims. She literally raised an army of the dead. Good grief.
I'll take my life back.
Now that is fun.
Squid.
I feel like there could be a crossover with Ash in Army of the Dead. Army of Darkness style. That'd be amazing.
Now here waits trial at the ice court.
I beg your pardon. Beg your pardon.
You alright?
Jasper, you're not going to wax on Poetic Bomb either, are you?
What? You want to fight Ravka? Bring hell.
You can't catch me now. I'm coming like a storm into your town.
That's the beauty of being on a set like this, is that you think, you know, watching the final product, everybody's so serious and it's brutal. And then you actually get to like the outtakes and whatnot, and you realize everyone's having a blast. It's so much fun. Also, that drug often killed Grishas, like any drug, since it does increase their powers, but also kills them slowly. Ooh. Kind of a double-edged sword there.
We lost her. Did we?
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of that
Don't we?
movie with, oh gosh, Bradley Cooper? I think it was called Limitless or something, where he took that drug to give him, like, unlock 90% of the brain power or whatever. I think the line in there is humans only use 10% of their brain or something. So it unlocks the 90%, but it slowly kills you every time you take it. So it's one of those things. It makes you sharp, makes you smarter, makes you run things, but eventually it kills you.
Here's what I don't get.
We're going to be here all night.
If you hear a whisper,
That's a great movie, by the way.
Who can hear a whisper here?
Well, I won't say great. I'll say good. I'll say good movie.
Calm.
Great is kind of reserved for great movies.
It's all right. You can win it back.
Mm.
No one is ever going to believe I'm that old.
You tell yourself.
It has never been a better time to be a gambler. That is a fact.
Landmine!
Shouldn't you be on the door?
Yeah, right, boss. Pumpkin beer for the Westerners?
Shut up, Jasper.
I miss Milo.
Make sure there are no surprises.
Cool, well done.
Mr. Powers is why when he shoots, he doesn't miss. It's a heck of a shot. If I'm guaranteed to make every shot, I'm shooting like wildly too far away.
Hi everyone, we're the cast of Shadow and Bone.
But more importantly, we are the Crows.
A show within a show. We're the Crows, but we happen to be a part of Shadow and Bone. I mean, that literally writes itself as a spinoff. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Go ahead and throw that a like. Link down below in the YouTube description for the original video. Go throw it some love. Shout out to Luke, of course. Excellent TikTok selected for that one. Very, very cool. Let's go ahead and pull up some information on the 6 of Crows. Of course, part of Netflix's Shadow and Bone. But no one ever talks about Shadow and Bone. All I ever hear about is the 6 of Crows. So I guess that kind of says something, doesn't it? Let's go ahead and pull up that information. The Crows deserved better than Netflix's Shadow and Bone. I mean, there you go. This was posted 2 years ago. Is this from a... Nope. I watched the first season of Shadow and Bone before I read any of the books, and I thought it was like 2 different shows chopped together. Honestly, that's kind of what it feels like. If The Crows had its own show from day one, trust me, it wouldn't have been canceled because the engagement would be high. Yeah. It definitely seems that way, honestly. I watched the first season, like I read. Felt like 2 different shows chopped together. One about edgy fantasy criminals who live in a world with excellent set direction that I liked, and another that felt like a fairly standard YA story, which I did not like. The closer the characters got to meeting, and the more the 2 shows merged, the less enjoyable it got for me. I decided not to watch season 2. Afterward, I found out that they merged 2 different series, and I was very confused as to why anyone would do that. They have different target audiences, so when you combine the stories into one, it's only enjoyable for people that like both. That is a great point. Holy crap, that's a good point. Whereas people that only enjoy one of the 2 end up resenting 50% of the content, contaminating the other 50%. That is so beautifully put. Beautifully put. If this was 2 different things, I guarantee the 6 of Crows would have lasted longer than Shadow and Bone. That is a guarantee. Such a perplexing decision. Oh well, at least it had me reading 6 of Crows, which I did very much enjoy. Also, the 6 of Crows books were fan faves. All the books were good, but Crows are the best books. Also, they kind of combined not just 2, but 3. Good grief. This person said, I just need a 6 of Crows spin-off series. Yeah, I mean, we've said that quite often. I'm most of the way through episode 4 at this point, and I'm incredibly disappointed that the whole Crows storyline with Pekka Rollins seems to have already played itself out. I had high hopes for season 2 that we'd get to see the Crows actually doing, you know, the plot of 6 and Crows. So far, even as much as I like the Crows, all their stories seemed really rushed, and yet they're still the best part of the show by a big margin. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That is ridiculous. I also find myself struggling to stay excited anytime the show switches back to Alina and Maul and their whole storyline, because honestly, it's fairly boring. I enjoyed season 1 for what it was. I think Leigh Bardugo took the opportunity for involvement to sort of fix it in post and correct a lot of what makes the original Grishas trilogy very young YA. So far, season 2 is not having a similar effect on me, and anytime the crows get any screen time, it's the best portion of that particular episode. You know what that kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of General Hospital and the Sprina pairing. How whenever they were in the show, the ratings would go up. Whenever they weren't in the show, the ratings would go down. Because people were specifically watching for that pairing, and probably the rest of the show just felt awful. Or like, all right, get through this. Come on, bring them back. You're just waiting for them to exit the screen. That's probably what this felt like to a lot of people. An actual Six of Crows spin-off series would be amazing if it happens, but Netflix being Netflix, as we've talked about, Netflix being Netflix, I'm not keeping my fingers crossed. You should not. At this point, definitely don't. Shadow and Bone trilogy, Maul, Alina, Crow's duology, Crow's duh, King of Scars, Rule of Wolves, Zoya, Nikolai, and Nina returning to bury Matthias. Yes, Matthias dies in the books, so one of the crows does die. Zoya and Nikolai's romance books are good too, but because Maul and Alina are sadly main characters and how good the crows are, Nikolai and Zoya don't get the love they deserve. Oh my gosh. It's like they picked the wrong things to focus on. Freddie, imagine if it was a Six of Crows show and then they kind of tied in this stuff too. That probably would have done better. Still would have split the audience because they still would have been like, all right, go back to the crows, get back to the crows. Freddie Carter as Kaz was inspiring casting. He has a similar quality to Cillian Murphy in Peaky Blinders. Yes, I definitely see that. Where despite being a bit of a prick most of the time, you sympathize because you can see the agony under the surface that drives him. The Jesper character grew on me as the relationship with Wyland developed. With Wyland himself being particularly endearing despite limited screen time, I would agree with that. Definitely those comedic moments, comedic relief. And while I didn't mind Inej, I also felt that the fight choreography was a bit underwhelming and her arc a bit. Becca Rollins is the kind of villain I like to see, ruthless with a carefully hidden and very human weakness that the good guys can exploit. Also helped seeing how he quickly took charge in prison, providing some insight into how he achieved his level of power prior to the events on the screen. Wheaton herself was fine. Jessie May Lee did a solid job without being spectacular. I don't dislike Maul as a character, but he feels a bit one-dimensional. Honestly, give me a Kaz spinoff and I'm there. More Alina and Maul being noble and self-sacrificing without ever really having to sacrifice anything. Meh. Yeah, Kaz is a great freaking character. In all of these edits, I'm drawn to Kaz and Inej's storyline for some reason. I don't know why. Kind of like that weird, like, you can tell they want each other, but that it's just not possible. It's not a thing. They're just torn apart by some reason. It's just fascinating. It's that little give and take, Always torn apart, but they're that close. They're that close. Especially that one scene where it's like, I want you. And she's just like, I think both book series were improved upon by the TV show, which really isn't something I thought I'd ever say about a fantasy adaptation. Strongly agree. I never thought I'd say it either, but they stuck true in a lot of the core storytelling and plot points, but definitely improved on my biggest complaints with the first book, at least. That's impressive. That is impressive. Started watching season 2 last night and thought about this. Shadow and Bone trilogy is 100 proof YA. Six of Crows is arguably an adult fantasy series hiding out as a YA. Yeah, oh yeah. You could make Six of Crows so brutally not YA. you could literally make them just brutal. Brutal. If it's within the books, of course. But yeah, it does not have to be YA. With the characters aged down for marketing reasons, that makes sense. TV series is 2 shows in one. You'll be catching, well, as Luke said, maybe 3 shows in one. You'll be watching teen gangsters with special skills navigating the city's corrupt underbelly, and the next scene is the hunt for the big eel, featuring Glow Light Girl, her boyfriend, and her whimsical pirate crew. The crows are supposed to be teens? I thought they were just in their late 20s. They're like 16 to 18 or something like that. That was one thing I just pretended wasn't the case when I read, and thankfully they aged them up in the show. Honestly, I kind of like the 20s version of them. Got a little bit of age to them, a little bit of rough around the edges, if you will. They've seen some things. It's the everyone in high school is played by 20-somethings. Yes. That's so funny. Six of Crows is arguably an adult fantasy series hiding out as YA. Person says, no, it's not. It's great YA. There is good and great YA that exists. I'm so tired of the idea that it's just assumed that all YA is trash. But when a really good one comes along, oh, it's really more like an adult fantasy because it's good. I mean, they're probably saying that because they were aged up, that it's not. We agree with the author that the Crows deserve better. Felt like the writers worried that they wouldn't get a Crows spinoff, so rather than lose their chance to do their favorite bits of the duology, they shunted them forward into this prequel. That's probably true. That's probably more accurate. They had a feeling they wouldn't get it. Or just a Crows show wouldn't get greenlit. So they kind of like snaked them in there. That sounds legit. That is so interesting. Pacing's wildly off on season 2. Introducing and rushing plot threads. Manic pace. And every relationship has gone full on CW. Oh my gosh. As someone who has reacted to quite a few CW shows, that speaks to me. That's so funny. Netflix finds value in buying rights for name recognition while it slaps chucks its own dollar store original stories up on its platform. I'm dead. That's so good. That's so good. Oh my gosh. They buy the rights to the name. So it's a big name. And then they throw up a dollar store or like a convenience store original story up on its platform. That's so freaking funny. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's so good. Who are the Six of Crows? Every member of Kaz's crew explained. Kaz is the criminal mastermind who leads the Crows. Obviously, you can see some photos here. Setting was great. The lighting was lovely. Oh my gosh. When Kaz is approached and offered the job of breaking into the ice court to retrieve the scientist Bo in exchange for 30 million Krug, he knows it will be extremely difficult, but not impossible. Brilliant con man who keeps everyone around him on their toes when he may change direction or reveal a valuable piece of knowledge at any moment. Primarily motivated by the desire to ruin Pekka Rollins' life, as Rollins did to Kaz as a child. Kaz then adopted a new surname and joined the Dregs, one of the city's gangs, working toward his ultimate revenge for many years. Got Inej, skilled spy and assassin known as a Wraith. Kaz's proposed ice court heist offers Inej the opportunity to pay off what she owes on her contract, with plenty of money left over to start a new life when she is free. Show also adapts parts of Kaz and Inez's romance, including some exact quotes of dialogue. I like the fact that they used exact quotes. That's very cool. Jesper is a Six of Crows sharpshooter with some surprising skills, as we learned. Secret Grisha, who is recruited by Kaz sometime after arriving in Ketterdam. Kaz deduces that Jesper is Grisha. His supernatural ability to manipulate metal also proves useful during jobs. Part of his storyline is dedicated to him coming to terms with the fact that he's able to do that. Father instructed him to keep his abilities secret. Also has a relationship with Wylan, another member of the Crows. We got Nina. Nina is vital to the Crows as a powerful heart render. Also very funny. Nina and Matthias fall in love, but in a moment of crisis, Nina accuses Matthias of kidnapping her, so he will be arrested by the authorities instead of the Second Army, who would likely execute him. Nina then follows Matthias to Ketterdam and takes up residence until she can find a way to free him from Hellgate Prison. Nina and Matthias join the mission to infiltrate the Ice Court, but they agree that it is not in the interest of either of the nations that Yul Bayur lives in the plot to kill him instead of freeing him. And we have Matthias provides the Crows with vital information and extra muscle. There's said muscle. Clearly went behind bars. Initially joins the Crows because Kaz can provide him with a pardon if he helps them accomplish their mission. After escaping the Ice Court, Nina and Matthias are both loyal to Kaz with the general goal of not getting arrested. I mean, that's a good goal. And not letting the secrets of WeirdnessUnfolds get out. However, he's killed by another Jordan soldier in the chaos of Crooked Kingdom's final act. And of course, we end with Wylan, Crow's demolitions expert. Although he initially questioned that, he eventually decided to go with it. Show does not fully explain how Wylan came to work for Kaz. That's unfortunate. Hints in the show suggest that the plan was to follow his book's storyline in which Wylan is the son of the very merchant who hires Kaz. Due to an unspecified learning disability, Wylan cannot read, leading his father to believe he's unsuitable to inherit the lucrative family business. Wylan's education in the sciences proved to be useful in creating explosives, and he occasionally sells products to Kaz. Kaz recruits Wylan for the Ice Court, believing he could be used as leverage against his father if it came to it. That's interesting. Wylan develops a relationship with Jesper, as we talked about, throughout the 2 Six of Crow books, and after their adventure, they live a wealthy lifestyle in Wylan's father's former home, who's arrested at the end of Crooked Kingdom when Kaz exposes his corrupt business practices. Nice. That is a happy ending there. Six of Crows has the best enemies to lovers arc and romantasy. Romantasy? I've never seen that. And it's not even close. Kaz and Inez, Jesper and Wylan, Nina and Matthias make up unique, heartwarming romances. Nina and Matthias stand out for their truly earned enemies to lovers dynamic rooted in generations-long hatred. Oh yeah, that's right. Kaz and Inez is the slowest burn of the series. In many respects, they should never work out. Jesper and Wylan, of course. Pairing actually has a valid reason to hate each other, which they overcome for love. Though Matthias should kill Nina without hesitation, he is too enthralled by her fierce beauty and charm. Whoa. Fantasy romance, romantasy. I mean, that's a great word. I like it.
Furthermore, when Nina and Matthias own up to their feelings, they must prove past their beliefs to see each other as true equals. In this way, the enemy's part is truly meaningful. It took more than physical attraction to break down the barriers between them. Certainly had a reason to hate each other, which makes them as strong enemies to lovers. However, what's even better is that Bardugo didn't let the characters forget their past. Although Nina and Matthias attracting to each other opened the door to the relationship, they had to put in some serious work to be able to be a happy couple. Matthias had to unlearn his Jordan teachings and better understand Grisha magic. Meanwhile, Nina had to come to terms with Matthias's religious leanings and love for his country. All in all, they're a prime example of a great enemies to lovers pairing. Although Six of Crows has more than one outstanding romance, as we've talked about, Nina and Matthias deserve special praise. Though many other authors have tried to recreate a connection as good as this one, most romances pale in comparison to its true enemies to lovers duo. Fascinating. Good grief. Yeah, it is truly a show within a show within a show within a show. It's unfortunate that they didn't get a spinoff. I guess it's because season 2 didn't perform as well, but I mean, is it the fault of the Six of Crows that the rest of the show didn't perform well? No, probably not. It's up to the writers to, get the pacing right and not introduce storylines that they don't truly go over and don't flush out. They probably just bit off more than they could chew, honestly. Trying to wrap 3 different books, basically, or 3 different stories into one show, that seems like a lot. It's especially a lot to put in the hands of the audience. I mean, the audience is there. You're watching, you're trying to absorb as much as you can so you can understand the show and the storylines. But if you just throw a bunch of different storylines, things that could have been other shows at people, they might get confused. They might be like, this is too much. The pacing is terrible because they're trying to get all these things to interact and be like cognizant and coherent. Like, ugh. It's too bad, honestly. It is too bad. Good grief. I love those edits though, and I'm happy to hear that the people are still making Six of Crow edits. That's very cool. You'll love to see it. Next up is Xena Gabrielle, a poem. This was published 2 years ago. Headphones highly recommended. I don't understand why that's always recommended. Maybe there's like weird spatial audio. I have no idea, but we're going to find out. Go ahead and jump in. We've honestly been reacting to quite a few Xena clips and edits recently. It's interesting. If you've seen any of the other ones, you know that I had seen a couple episodes way back in the day. I was much younger at that point. It is a quite old show, fortunately. But I don't remember much of the plot line. I do remember, obviously, Xena and Gabrielle, and I never put together the fact that they were together, basically. I was just completely clueless. Yeah, I was just too young, frankly. But let's go ahead and check it out.
I find the strongest trees in the forest stand alone.
Close your eyes.
You don't have to be strong all the time, Xena. Sometimes it's good for the soul to be soft.
A poem? There's a moment when I look at you, and no speech is left in me. You don't have to say a word. My tongue breaks. Gabrielle.
Then fire races under my skin and I tremble.
Gabrielle's soul and mine were destined to be together. I didn't come all this way to lose her now. She has to be ready.
Wait a minute. How's this show look so good? Wait. How does 2012 General Hospital One Life to Live look so bad and this looks so much better? How was that possible? Has this been remastered? Did they remaster Xena?
Let's just say I'm the Sacred One's protector.
I'll do whatever I have to do to protect her.
I am so lost with that.
I grow pale, for I'm dying of such love.
Take it easy, Luke. Thanks for joining. How is the quality on this so good? I'm so lost. What the heck? Look at that.
The family he had sought.
Maybe there's been like some filter applied or something like that that like
It's beautiful.
makes it HD.
The only family he had ever known. Ever needed.
Oh, that water was not moving, by the way. That was a weird green screen moment. But how does it look this good? What the heck? I am so lost. I'm going to go ahead and throw that a like. Link down below in the description for the original video. Go throw it some much deserved love. What's going on, Rocco Kitty? Welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. Wow. That was shockingly good quality compared to what we just saw with General Hospital or One Life to Live. What the heck? What? That looks like that could be put out like, I don't know, 2018? Minus the black bars, of course, on the sides. But that's wild. That is crazy. Like you can see like pores and blemishes, and I am so lost on that. Oh my gosh. Anyway. Dang. Evil Xena and Armageddon now. Maybe I'll even find true love, huh? Dang. All right, let's pull up some information on Xena. Xena Warrior Princess writer on Xena, Gabrielle, and what it takes to make a centaur. Sci-Fi Wire talked with one of Xena's writers. This came out 2 years ago. Producers about what it took to bring the beloved fantasy series to life. 1995 Xena was a groundbreaking show centered on a woman warrior named Xena, Lucy Lawless, of course. Warrior in a fantastical world who could kick everyone's butt. And her trusted partner, Gabrielle, played by Renee O'Connor. Show covered a lot of ground, which each episode having the potential to bring something completely different to your television screen. Quote, we ended up doing slapstick emotional dramas. We did infanticide, patricide, all these different topics. We approached spirituality as well, which for an action show is almost unheard of. And we, of course, disguised social issues within our particular episodes. We just basically threw everything out there. Part of Xena is the relationship between the warrior princess and Gabrielle. Partnership that the LGBTQ community embraced as a romantic one. Connection didn't exactly surprise Sears at the time. He knew that there was often this subtext in the 90s around many same-gender characters. Making Xena and Gabrielle queer, however, wasn't one of what the writers set out to do at the beginning. Writers did consciously make the two closer as the series progressed, which Sears described as a natural progression. I mean, yeah, you would expect if you're spending that much time with somebody, you would get closer and closer and closer. Of course. I mean, just think about a friend that you had when it just started out, started hanging out more. It grew into like a best friendship, like really good friend. You can finish each other's sentences. You know, it just feels like they're so familiar, right? Characters start to take on their own life, and it's an interactive thing. You're following back and forth with what's happening on the screen and what you're writing. And to make Xena and Gabrielle real, they had to become close. They had to become more identifiable with each other. Their affinity for each other, their devotion to each other, and their love for each other developed over time, which, by the way, is actually how it happens in life. Yeah, I mean, we all know what that is. we all can relate to that in whatever capacity, whether it's platonic or romantic or whatever. World of Xena differed from contemporary life in certain ways, of course. One of the obvious differences, the show's full of magical creatures like centaurs. Creating the visual effects for the otherworldly creatures was a challenge given the capabilities at the time, and the show's very limited budget. Low-tech methods for creating the centaurs in particular also created some humorous moments for the crew. We would bring in a horse, and we would shoot the horses. Wait, what? They would film the horses. Explain that about the centaur making process. It was standing there and moving around, and then we would also bring in an actor who had kind of a kilt that would blend into the horse's fur, and they would just be standing on uneven block shoes so that they would also would have that little rocking motion. What the heck? And then we basically merged the two films together, so on top of each other. Oh my gosh. That's almost how Disney did all the productions back then. Like they drew it on glass, right? Sleeping Beauty and whatnot. And then they shot from a camera all through those glass frames. And that's what made it. And then they would just swap out the glass frames with the different movements, different colors, different backgrounds, whatever. Long process. That's kind of what they did. Which is amazing. Obviously not with the glass and whatnot. Things have changed. It was standing there moving around. That's crazy. And then we basically merged the two films together. Now, in that process of doing that, it goes through several stages. So there's a midway stage where it's a little bit transparent. You can still make out the horse, and you can still see the body. Yeah, of course. Sometimes when it got cold in New Zealand, when the horse would exhale, you'd see vapor coming out of the horse's nose. When you merged that over some guy who's a centaur, basically we had nipple mist. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That is hilarious. That is so funny. Oh my gosh. Oh, so you would see little wisps coming out from the breasts of the actual actor until we finally cemented the transfer. That's so funny. That's so funny. Nipple mist aside. What has really stuck with Sears over the years, however, is the fandom community that grew around the show. I really love the passion of the fans. The Xena fans are just amazing. No other shows have amazing fandoms, but I never seen anything like the Xena fandom. They're the kindest, most wonderful, most caring people. That's nice. The fandom named a planet after Xena and her moon after Gabrielle. What? Y'all are awesome for this. It wasn't the fandom per se. It was astronomer Mike Brown. I read his book about it. It's interesting. Found a short read about it here. You have a general breakdown of his book. Mike Brown, part of the team that discovered the new dwarf planet, named them Xena and Gabrielle. That's amazing. That's so cool. The moon is named after the Greek goddess of lawlessness, and Xena was portrayed by a certain Lucy Flawless Lawless. So the moon is certainly named after Lucy. That's awesome. Oh, dang. The dwarf planet's larger than Pluto. Look at that. Very neat.
most massive and second largest known dwarf planet in the solar system. Very cool. Very neat. It's amazing. You'll find fans of shows and content everywhere, doing everything. Very cool. Xenophilia with Renee O'Connor and her fans. Syndicated television show ran from 95 to 2001. And how did it look that good? Clearly, it was remastered in some capacity. There must be some like filter on there or something that just makes it look great. Achieved such a high degree of popularity that I hardly felt the need to watch it in order to be aware of its cultural impact, particularly among women. It seemed to strike a chord that resonated throughout the public discourse. Years after the show ended its run, a small army of Europeans turned out for a fan convention, first of its kind in France, thousands of miles from Hollywood, and from New Zealand, where the show was filmed. Fans had traveled from Italy, Spain, Czech Republic, Germany, Sweden, and Norway. The intensity of their devotion to the show, to Gabrielle, and to Renee herself was palpable. Really cool. I think they go to cons, don't they? Pretty sure. Xena had given viewers a starting point to form a community and to connect with like-minded souls around the world, urge them to work out and take better care of their bodies. That's definitely true. Helped to improve their English language skills, inspired their artistic endeavors, ranging from poetry to comic books, videos, and at least in one case, saved a life. Wow. To a point, you wouldn't be wrong to say, oh, it's just a silly TV show. And yet, by inviting viewers to invest in and to locate themselves within the televised saga, some shows have the power to transcend the usual limitations of the genre or the medium. Useful to be reminded periodically of the value of popular art. That's very true. That is extremely true. That's a great point. Depends on, the person watching, their opinions, maybe where they are in life, etc. It can be quite healing or therapeutic in a way. For me, it's video games. I play video games and it just kind of like resets me in a weird way. If I'm angry, if I'm sad, whatever, I just kind of lose myself in it. And it just kind of like levels me out very nicely. It's done that for years. And I've leaned into it for years. It always works. I don't know why, but it does. Kind of takes me out of the real world, puts me in fantasy. And then when I come back to real world, I'm good. Weirdly. But, TV shows can have that same effect. Movies, of course, music. Quite a few times have I read that a certain band or a certain artist has saved people's lives going through a dark place. The music speaks to them, whether they relate to it or it just kind of gets their mind off of their real life troubles, squabbles, whatever. It can be very healing. And people have comfort shows or comfort movies that they throw on in the background that just kind of like eases them and whatnot. Like art can be very expressive, whether it's positive, negative, whatever, but it can be extremely positive in many different ways. But yeah, it has been interesting for sure. Xena is definitely a wonderful show. I don't remember too much of it as I was just extremely young when this came out. I did watch reruns from time to time, obviously with Hercules as well. The legend, what was it? Hercules, the legendary series or something. I don't know what it was called, but basically the Hercules version of it.
where they introduced Xena. Very important binge, the best Gabrielle episodes of Xena. Who's and Harlots, Season 1, Episode 10. Unlike most sidekicks, Gabrielle was already growing by leaps and bounds by this point in Xena's first season. In the first episode, she relied on talking her way out of dangerous situations, but here she started to pick more skills and slowly learn how to fight by watching Xena. When she and Xena are stopped by the Amazons and then collectively they are all attacked by mysterious assassins, Gabrielle throws her body over an Amazon in an attempt to save her life. When the Amazon dies, it is agreed by all that this makes Gabrielle an Amazon princess in her stead. The Greater Good, Season 1, Episode 21. Episode right before the debut of Callisto, Xena's nemesis. The deep friendship between Xena and Gabrielle, beautifully executed here in this episode, changed the drive of the show, being mostly about the relationship between the two of them, while solidifying Gabrielle's role as more integral to Xena's story, instead of the standard sidekick companion. Best of all, watching Gabrielle in full Xena gear is easily one of the most entertaining moments of the entire first season. Oh, yeah. Right there. Girls Just Want to Have Fun, Season 2, Episode 4. Quite literally one of the greatest love stories of our time, and therefore absolutely bursting at the seams with queer subtext. The story follows the same general plot of any lesbian vampire story. Gabrielle hanging out at an all-women club and going rogue after she's bitten by a vampire. Not too much to say about this episode, but if anyone ever says that the queer subtext wasn't intentional in the early days of the show, you can always just send them screenshots. Turn of Callisto, Season 2, Episode 5. Jam-packed with enough story for a whole season. Isn't exactly a fun episode, and the whole wedding between Gabrielle and Perdiccas makes no real sense, but it is important for Gabrielle's story going forward. Her views on violence would change and shift drastically. The Quest, Season 2, Episode 13. Gabrielle agrees to return to the Amazons as their queen after she takes care of Xena's burial. Episode's great, introduces incredibly, if short-lived, villain in Velasca, a bitter Amazon who despises Gabrielle. The Quill is Mightier, Season 3, Episode 10. Aphrodite's angry that her followers seem to revere Xena a little more than her. Ooh. Gabrielle has no idea that in this case, and carelessly writes whatever she likes, causing massive chaos and confusion. Xena has to step in to fix. Oh, Aphrodite cursing Gabrielle's scrolls. Interesting. Everything she writes becomes true. Yikes. Yikes. Helicon and Back, Season 6, Episode 15. Gabrielle essentially relinquished control over the Amazons to their new queen, Varia. Episode shows Varia stepping into the position. Gabrielle's forced to take control of the Amazons once more and lead them into a bloody battle, during which many is lost. Action scenes in this episode are great, and the character beats are some of the best in the series. Mind-blowing secrets fans didn't know. We'll kind of run through these really quick. Xena was meant to be killed off on Hercules. That's Hercules right there. What an incredible show. Pretty dang good for low-budget TV back in the late 90s, early 2000s. That's crazy. Xena was meant to be killed off. Producers were looking for a potential spin-off, and they were impressed with Xena when her three-part arc began. They saw the potential that Xena could carry a spin-off series and decided she would survive the story. Dang. Writers were required to keep Xena and Gabrielle's relationship ambiguous. Lucy Wallace was the 6th choice for Xena. Oh my gosh. Wait, who was in
front of her on that? We know? Oh, 4 other actresses all rejected the role. Finally, the role was offered to Lucy, a relative unknown that had already appeared on Hercules twice in different roles. Oh, wow. Vanessa Angel of Weird Science fame was first cast as Xena. Really? Became too ill to travel to New Zealand for filming. Oh, that's interesting. Hindu groups objected to Xena's Krishna. Oh, working with religious figures. Yeah, that's kind of tricky territory there. Episode was edited slightly, and it aired with an introduction from Lawless stressing that the show tried to portray Hinduism in a respectful way. Ooh. Hindu groups felt this was a tantamount to Krishna giving his blessing to homosexual relationships, mirroring Xena in a heavy religious debate. I do not remember that. I was obviously way too young, but yikes. Studio head did not think female heroes worked on television. I mean, certainly it was, breaking ground there. So obviously they were a little worried, but obviously it did well. Series creator thought the show was pushing boundaries before the Xena-Gabrielle relationship. Large portions of the series had to be rewritten for Lucy Lawless. Oh, problems when she was physically unable to perform the stunts. During the second season, she fell from a horse during a segment on The Tonight Show, fracturing her pelvis in several places. Oh my gosh. Requiring physical therapy to relearn to walk. She became pregnant in the 5th season. That also had to be worked into the show. Kevin Sorbo objected to Xena being Hercules' equal. Sorbo commented, I never understood why Tappert made her actually more powerful than Hercules. Hercules is supposed to be the strongest person in the world and a half god. And here Xena was able to do everything Hercules can do and more. They made her a doctor and so many other things. And I found it weird. Make her a kick-ass chick, but to give her my strength on top of it was weird. I mean, I guess. Yeah, Hercules is like a half god, isn't he? Demigod? Opinion may have been somewhat affected by Xena surpassing Hercules in the ratings. Hey, there you go. There's the real reason. Sorbo reportedly complained so much about Xena while filming Hercules that people on set would jokingly spit whenever Xena was mentioned. Oh my gosh. Lucy Lawless regrets not making a Xena movie. Was that in the works and it was declined or something? Since the end of the series, there have been multiple rumors and attempts at making a movie. Gotcha. Screenwriter was approached in 2003. The projected timeline of releasing a movie between 2006 and 2009. However, in 2009, Rob Tappert said there was no hope for Lucy or Renee. We expected it would happen at some point down the line. Honestly, it probably will. Hollywood is in the remake, reboot, and rehash business right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if the show came back, a movie came back. Many fans hated Jokester's introduction. Comic relief for the group, yep. They felt it was a female-centric show. It was like the only one on TV at the time, just about. Happened to be a fancy, but I think that was besides the point. And there I was, this goofy male, who was not even complimenting the other two females particularly, other than the fact that I was obviously dumber and weaker. Which was okay, but they didn't want any males on the show. Raimi was aware of the reaction, but Rob Tappert decided to keep him on the show. Most fans eventually warmed up to him. Well, I mean, introducing other main characters or somewhat main characters to any show is a risky business. Lucy Lawless hated being called a feminist icon.
At first, Lucy Lawless was not happy about receiving this kind of attention. Elaborated, I was really weirded out in the first season when they were calling me a feminist icon. I had never been described before in print, and it horrified me to be reduced down to a few words, less than a tweet. But now with the wisdom of age, I'm like, right on. Now I see the value of it at 25, 26. I couldn't bear to be iconicized, basically, because it's so reductive. I can understand that. That probably comes with a lot of pressure and weight to it. Being an icon. Series cast and crew were concerned about the potential reboot. All I can say is this. Get ready for a Xena reboot. I can guarantee it. Guarantee it. It is happening. Maybe they're in there. Maybe they're not. But it's definitely happening. And they'll probably pick new people. Will people like it? I'm going to assume no. That is the current trajectory for a lot of reboots right now. They're just not very well executed. Planned reboot died due to creative differences. That doesn't mean it won't happen. Does not mean it won't happen. NBC president added, I'd never say never on that one because it's such a beloved title, but the current incarnation of it is dead. Yeah, never say never. Never say never. Ares was supposed to be Xena's father. Producers regret the lack of female directors on the show. To be fair, that was probably just a sign of the time, basically. 6 seasons, 134 episodes, only 5 were directed by women. 2 of those episodes were Renee O'Connor herself. Wow. Producers claimed it came down to qualifications. Few female directors had experience directing with both action and visual effects. 2 necessary elements for creating a successful episode. We feel bad about it, but we're not guilty because we've tried. Well, I mean, part of me is like, I totally understand it's like a sign of the times, basically. And there probably wasn't a lot with the experience, but also you're on a groundbreaking show. Break some ground. Just do it with the directors as well, you know? Episodes had to be rewritten and recut due to the controversial content. Really? We had no parent guarding the liquor cabinet. Once in a while, they would weigh in, studio, I guess, and say things like, you can't do that. Like we had this terribly gross C-section of a baby centaur from a woman. They said the advertisers will pull out, so we did it anyways. And they said, oh, M&M's is pulling out, and we had to recut. Well, they told you not to do it, and then you did it anyways. Like, of course, the centaur birth might be a little weird for advertisers. Unfortunately, that kind of stinks because it's censorship, right? It's censorship through advertising money. So you just pull it out and you can get anything you want removed from the show. It's kind of gross. It happens a lot. But unfortunately, that's the way of the world, I suppose. It takes a studio or a network to stand up and just be like, we're not doing that. We're not pulling it. You can happily pull your money away. We're still going to do it. Fortunately, they don't have that. They don't have that bravery very often. We had an episode that would have outed Xena and Gabrielle, and they said, you just can't do that, guys. And we spun it a little differently. The writers took all week to do a rewrite and changed it. Lucy regrets the series finale. Ended with a heartwarming final death of Xena, leaving Gabrielle to continue her journey without her. Oh. They had no idea how much backlash it would create with the fans. Some of the people expressed regrets about how the series ended. Tapper explained, the funny thing is we probably underestimated the backlash. We thought it was the right thing for a character who had come from such a violent and lawless past, so that's why we did it. Xena's death is a huge regret on my part, Lucy Wallace said, because we didn't realize what it meant to people. We thought, oh, that's a really strong ending. Now I just want to say to fans, let's pretend that never happened. I'm dead. That's funny. That is so funny. Let me go ahead and take a little break here. I will be back, but give me, a couple minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, something like that. Alrighty, I am back. I'm back. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and move on to the next video. It is... I'm going to butcher this so bad, but I'm going to try it. Moyer. Thank you, Rocco Kitty. Moyer and Suwan, maybe. The story so far, season 1 through 2. This is from a Wheel of Time, or The Wheel of Time, I think. Let's go ahead and bring this up and check it out. I don't think we're going to need closed captioning, so we'll go full screen on that. And let's go.
It's been so hard to think about any future beyond these walls, and when I think about us, where we'll end up, it's not in this tower, these gowns and the ring. I know what it is to feel you deserve something different than what this life gives you. No life. No love of one's own. Nothing but the seat. When have we ever followed the rules? To wonder why you couldn't just stay at home. Love the people you love, grow old with them, protect them, support them. Threads, weaving in and out of the pattern without consequence.
I see the Emerald's seat and she's wearing full regalia and...
Why didn't you tell me?
She's going to be your downfall.
Why didn't you tell me you'd been stilled? 6 months of letters, Moraine, and not one word about this.
I wrote you every day. The Notebook.
You've been gone such a long time.
Why are you here, Swan?
I've let you carry this burden for 20 years, love. You've given everything for it. From here on out, I row beside you.
Oh, where is it then?
It's in a bamboo hut on the river, like my father and I had.
And I'll be your fishwife. You make a bloody awful fishwife.
Have you ever cast a net, Lady Demodred?
I might have. But we're not going to be here forever. Tomorrow, when you sentence me, it must be exile.
Why?
Maigen's ordered me to stay in the tower.
I have made my judgment.
What if we brought the other sisters in? Tell them what we're trying to do.
They must never suspect we're working together. If another sister finds out what we're doing, we'll be stilled.
You think I've forgotten that?
For your disobedience and intractability, you are exiled from this tower.
I, Moraine do swear to honor and obey Suamsach, daughter of the river, clever as a pike, strong as the tides, and never return until she calls me home.
You lied to me about being stilled.
No. I cannot. I've been more truthful with you than anyone else.
We failed, Moyer. At the eye of the world, you failed. The stakes are too high to fail again. Close the way gate.
No.
I don't want to force you. You swore to obey me on the oath rod. An unbreakable oath. Bound by the One Power.
We're gonna serve out our time and then advise the daughter of Andor or the king of Altara, and then we'll retire. So
Such an interesting juxtaposition to see them earlier on before all this kind of worked its way out. How positive and full of hope and smiles and all that good feeling and whatnot. We're going to change things. We're going to do things. And then to see them at this point where it's just brutal. Had to exile. Swore an oath to never betray, whatever. It's such a dim future, unfortunately. Or present.
Moraine Damodred.
No, if you have ever loved me, don't
I
do
command you to close the way gate. I thought we'd have more time.
We always think that, don't we?
Do you mean that?
Yes. But you'll be
look at that. How full of life they are and how drained they are in this. It's torn apart.
Please. In this life or the next.
Wow. Excellent edit. Beautiful music. Link down below in the YouTube description for the original video. Go throw it some much deserved love. I'm going to throw that some love as well. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Let's look up some more information on Moiraine and Siwan, I think, is the pronunciation. Here we go. I've given my life to finding the Dragon Reborn, finding Rand, seeing him ready to face the last battle. I will see that done, whatever it requires. Nothing and no one can be more important than that. Pronounced Moiraine. Was born in the year 956 NE. Youngest daughter of Dal Rezin, I think, a scholar, and his second wife, whose name is unknown.
Also goes by the name Alice. Became a legend, possibly a legend even greater. And these names are insane. If you're not well versed in it, this is like a nightmare to read. Let's see. Face not one but four. Encounter with the Forsaken. Face not one but four and beat two of them, earning her a remarkable status as one of the greatest sisters in Tower history, rivaling even the Tower's early legends of the age. Heroic deeds as a member of the Circle that resealed the Dark One's prison, surviving the Tower, likely immortalized her name. Oh, that was Rosamund Pike. I knew it. I recognized her from Gone Girl, if you've ever seen that movie. Wheel of Time is a television series based on the novels of the same name, premiered in 2021 on Prime Video. Been renewed through season 3. Each season has 8 episodes. Each episode is approximately an hour. Initially, the series focuses on Moiraine as its protagonist as she searches for the Dragon Reborn. Dragon is the title for the male champion of the light against the Dark One, and always is a reincarnation of a single particular soul. So it's 8 episodes. Not a lot. That is not a lot. So season 3 is coming in 2025, apparently. Last episode of second season ended October 6th. Zuan, let's see. Can't pronounce any of these words. Briefly imprisoned. While there, she was healed from stilling, regaining her status, albeit as a low-ranking sister, bonded to warder. Eventually, she agreed to marry someone. Ooh, okay. Unfortunately, neither of them survived to marry. Oof. A Merlin seat serves as the current. Juan and Moiraine are lovers, have known each other intimately since the time they trained together in the tower. I think I have to move this over just a little bit. Pretty sure. Yeah, there we go. I don't want to cut off anything. Okay. They are able to confide in one another about anything and work closely together on their secret mission to find the Dragon Reborn, but this means they must keep the relationship a complete secret from the tower. Many believe they are now adversaries. In order to conceal their true dealings and mission, they publicly play up people's perception of their dislike of one another, as well as potential rivalry and any differences such as their origins. Moiraine coming from high nobility. Moraine's dedication to personally locating the Dragon Reborn means that the couple are often separated for long periods of time, and the pair wish for a time when they can truly be together for as long as they wish.
The wheel does not care if you are young or afraid, pretty or weak, or excuse me, petty or weak. Certainly doesn't care what you want. The wheel calls you to this, whether you can bear it or not. The last battle is coming. Winter is coming. What any of us wants now is meaningless. The only thing that matters is what you do. Costumes looks pretty amazing. Wheel of Time producers explain Moraine and Siwan Sanchi's relationship. Amyrlin's seat is one of, if not the most powerful individual in the world in the books. Wheel of Time showrunner said, Siwan. So to bring them to life, casting was everything for us. And bizarrely, the first person that both Rosamund Pike and I separately thought of was Sophie Okonedo. I remember standing in the Two Rivers with her when we first talked about it and had that almost kismet sense of, if that was both of our number ones, it simply must be her. Then months later, to have Sophie walk in and take the seat itself was one of my favorite days on set in my entire career. Luminous, authoritative, and kind, imperious, and everything that the Amyrlin needs to be. Have to keep their goals secret since the dragon may be a man, and it's a given among whoever that men must have connections to the one power cut off, lest they go mad and break the world again. Yikes. As they did in the Age of Legends. What's more, we learned that Moraine and Siwan are in an intimate relationship that they must also keep secret. In the books, it's made very clear that Moraine and Siwan are pillow friends at the White Tower, which is code for intimate relationship. After that, the two of them were the only witnesses to Gitara Moroso's foretelling of the birth of the Dragon Reborn. Since that moment, the two of them have lived their whole lives in tandem, leading up to the moment we see them first meet on screen in the books in Book 2, The Great Hunt, working from within and without the tower, working from within and without of the tower to bring the prophecy they witnessed to fruition. In the show, we've stuck exactly with that story, and while it's only hinted at in the books that Moraine and Siwan continued their intimate relationship into adulthood, we brought that to the forefront. As a gay person reading these books in the 90s and 2000s, to see Moraine being represented as having a relationship with another woman in New Spring, such a huge moment for me, and even still today to have a queer person as a lead in a fantasy series feels almost shocking. In the writing of the episode, we tried to bring in a lot of these first scenes they had together in Book 2 of their relationship. While I'm a little afraid that the increased focus on Moraine will shortchange the other characters, more recently episode did feel alive and vital to me in a way that the others didn't, solid as they were. Moraine may not have been the main character in Robert Jordan's books. After watching the show, I wondered if she should have been. Interesting. So obviously there was a little departure from the books. Heartbreaking story. Moraine and Siwan shows no signs of stopping in the Wheel of Time. This was for the second. Or no, this was probably recent. October 2023. Maybe not. If the first season, which aired in 2021, served mostly as an introduction to the characters and the intricate world they moved through, the second season started to dive into the thick of the plot. It really has been quite a ride. Things, of course, were looking very heated for the season finale, where we left off the story of episode 7. But to be honest, there were a few things I cared about more than knowing what was in store for Moraine, played by Rosamund Pike, and Siwan, who happened to be two of my favorite characters on the show, as well as probably my favorite relationship, and also, incidentally, my actual mothers. Two didn't spend much time on screen together in the second season. Both of them tied up their respective duties and missions. Let's see what we get. Always a sucker for a good, the love was there, but it was not enough story. especially if it's about love clashing with duty, devotion to a higher cause, or the greater good. But discovering that Moyer and SolyOrion gave up their chance at true happiness together to serve the light was devastating, although it's perfectly in character. You know what's funny? The giving up the love for duty, that reminds me of Roman Holiday. I don't know if anybody's seen that that's watching this, but it is a classic. It's one of my favorite movies ever. Audrey Hepburn, Gregory Peck. It is a classic. So good. One of the great love stories. Always ends in tears. Or at least some watery eyes. It's great. But yeah, it very much touches on that. Excellent. I've seen and reacted to a couple of Wheel of Time videos. Seems interesting. Obviously, it's a bit more involved. Unfortunately, okay, I struggle with names a little bit. You know, I struggled with Game of Thrones. Heck, I even struggled with Lord of the Rings. Like, it's just something I've always struggled with. Like, if the names are a little bit more in-depth or tricky to remember or say, I can't. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I deal better with simple names, I guess. But it's definitely one where I have to kind of throw myself into. It seems good, though. Certainly. And obviously, I like the fact that they play out that relationship. And you kind of see, I mean, I pointed out, you see just the devastation that happens towards the end there, or at least in the more recent episodes, where how it started is not how it's ending. And you see tears, you see distress, you see, a change in demeanor, everything. Like you could feel when she was commanding her to close the gate. You could feel that kind of, I don't want to do this, but I have to do this, and you're making me do this. Unfortunately, it has to be this way kind of feeling. And it is just brutal. Brutal. You can feel it. Like, from that, it was very gripping. And coming from someone who's never seen the show, that's quite amazing. Let's go ahead and check out the last video of the stream and the week, coincidentally. It is called Start of Time. It is a Buck and Eddie video from the show 911. Go ahead and load that up. Hope you all have enjoyed it. Got about, let's see. This is about a 4-minute video. I don't think we're going to need closed captioning, so let's get it started. Apparently, these two had a bit of a farewell.
I know I got a great life, job, I love people, I never feel like I can trust it.
I'm leaving the 118. You're thinking about moving.
I don't know what you expected us to do.
I forgive you.
The mother.
Left behind. You act like you're expendable.
Once he gets to know you and know that you're an idiot, he'll love you like we all do.
You love me anyway. He promised.
But you're wrong.
It's like they just left him behind. You called me sad and lonely.
They're not in LA, they're in El Paso.
That won't happen now.
It's been a long time feeling like I wasn't enough.
You okay?
Better not. Don't know what it's like to watch someone you love walk away.
Wait, are you serious?
I'm tired of missing out on all my son's big moments before he grows up.
That's a good
I
point.
love him enough to never stop trying. I'm always God.
He's a really great dad.
That's a sentiment a lot of people have that are in travel jobs, whether it's truckers or pilots or, professional athletes, whatever. they always, or workaholics, CEOs, whatever, they always have that feeling of, I'm missing so much. I'm missing so much. Hopefully they have that feeling. There's some deadbeats that don't have that feeling, but we're talking about the good folks, okay? We're talking about the good ones. They're the good ones that are like, I'm missing so much. I want to be around, and maybe they take a step back in their career. Maybe they retire from that position or, sports career, whatever, acting career. They bring the family with them instead of leaving all the time. There's choices to be made there. So for Eddie to feel that strongly about it, like I feel like I'm missing all the moments that I should be there for, you gotta do whatever you gotta do at that point. Whether it's relocating, quitting a job, figuring out a way to be a part of it.
I hate it. I should have been there. My back in the day. Well, but I love you. We should move this party to the couch. And I know you do too. It's in my will if I die, you become Christopher's legal guardian. I guess I can only hope to find something that good. There's nobody in this world I trust in my son more than you.
He was looking for back.
No one will ever fight for my son as hard as you. Some of these places are tragic. I don't trust you to pick a nice one on your own. So I'm letting you go.
If there's something that you need to tell Eddie, you will.
Don't walk away from something before you even know what it is.
You don't find it, son.
I've been thinking a lot about what you said in our last session, and you make it. I hide my true feelings from others.
I'm sure a lot of you do this. I certainly do this from time to time. It's very random, but I love looking up houses for sale for some reason. It's just fascinating to me seeing how, other people's styles are, and why would you choose that paint color, Why would you make the wall that color, Oh, that's got to be updated. Got to change that out, swap that out, You're kind of like playing an interior decorator a little bit, or designer. And then you look at the prices of the homes, or, you look at what you could be pre-approved for, and you're just like, never mind. Maybe you're looking at $1 million houses, multiple $1 million houses, just having fun with it. And then reality hits pretty hard. But it's still incredibly fun to do that.
In your own time.
I'm starting to think you might be right. I'm not your last.
He's got one of those indestructible tablet cases.
Do you care for him? Eddie. Just stay with me, okay? Eddie? I'm worried about him. Yeah, of course. I kind of lost it.
Do you think about him when he's not around?
Team feels off without him. No, wait. Eddie was in the army.
So does this boy crush on Eddie mean that you're finally ready to move on from Abby?
Are his concerns your concerns?
I'm here. What can I do? Archie could help you figure out how to get Christopher what he needs. Not sure how any amount of practice can help Chris stay on escape.
Well, you always do. Is his happiness at least as important to you as yours?
You did not build me a skateboard.
But help. And could you see a future there?
Last thing you want is to be at the end. Only nothing but regrets.
Hey, Buck.
Hey.
The big question is, where are they taking this? Where is this going to go? Where does this go? Is this the end? Are they going to reunite? Where does this go? Link down below in the YouTube description for the original video. I'm going to go ahead and throw that some love. I invite you to do the same. Check out the channel as well. They might have other videos, edits that you might be interested in. Certainly. That was very well done. Great song choice. Excellent clips. Building the story arc. Everything. But, yeah, that's so interesting. Where are they taking that? I'm sure, you know, all the Buddy fans are just like, do it, come on. And then everyone else is just like, they're really just going to take like two of the closest people in the show and just throw that away? Like, what? No, come on now. Ridiculous. Bring them back. Bring them back, right? Christopher too as well. Just, it doesn't make a lot of sense to split that up. 911 just opened the door for Buck and Eddie. Eddie Diaz first introduced in season 2 premiere to the tune of Salt and Pepper's "What a Man, What a Man, What a Man, What a Mighty Cool Man." As Evan Buck originally angrily watched him from afar, Buck and Eddie quickly became best friends, but since then, there's always been a certain undertone to the relationship. When a mall elf mistakenly told Buck that he and Eddie had an adorable son in season 2, Buck didn't correct her. Additionally, every time that one of them has a near-death experience, the other one just crumbles. How does Tommy and Buck's breakup on 911 connect to Eddie? After processing Tommy's past with Abby, Buck decides to take a bold step in his relationship. Tells Tommy about how much Abby changed him, and says that Abby was the most transformative romantic relationship of his life until Tommy. This is also the moment when Buck jumps the gun and asks Tommy to move in with him. That is bold. Tommy then tells Buck that he's Buck's first in terms of having a relationship with another man, but that he won't be Buck's last. Tommy claims to have strong feelings for Buck, but says that Buck will break his heart if they move in together. Fascinating. What? As Tommy dumps Buck, the entire conversation seems to be dancing around the topic of Eddie. Tommy gives Buck tickets for their anniversary the night before. He makes a lighthearted comment about Buck taking Eddie instead, but Buck seems to actually consider it for a moment. Eddie's presence has hung over their entire relationship. Buck's interest in Tommy only started after Eddie and Tommy instantly became best friends, to the point where it initially looked like Buck was deeply jealous of Eddie spending time with someone else. 911's latest episode prepared Eddie for a potential relationship with Buck. Season 8 has been a really difficult one for Eddie ever since his son Christopher left for Texas in the season 7 finale. Eddie has also had a mustache for the whole season, which seemed random. I mean, yeah, that does seem kind of random, but, you know, people change things up. They mix it up. In Confessions, though, the meaning of Eddie's mustache is explained, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. Eddie goes to confession with Father Brian, priest who had previously appeared on the show as to help Bobby. Confession doesn't help, but Eddie ends up running into the priest while buying water, originally juice, while Eddie swapped out at the last minute as a punishment to himself. Eddie and Father Brian get to talking, and Eddie reveals that he's been wrapped up in a spiral of guilt and self-punishment since Christopher left. The mustache is Eddie's way of hiding from himself in the mirror, because a beard is too much of a fire hazard in his line of work. Father Brian encourages Eddie to stop punishing himself and do something that brings him joy. Later in the episode at home, Eddie shaves off his mustache and then does the dance from Risky Business. That's funny. Every scene of Eddie alone in his house this season has been devastating until now, when he embraces joy for a moment, which seems to set up his arc for the rest of season 8. Well, firefighters used to wear mustaches just to like... Oh, that's funny. That's freaking funny. So the whole thing with firefighters and mustaches is they would wear those, or have those. So it's kind of gross. So forewarning here, if you don't know this. So they would, you know, because they're going into a smoky environment, their nose would start to run and it would part around their mouths so they could breathe. Kind of crazy, kind of gross, but apparently that's true. So it was an actual feature. That's why a lot of firefighters used to have mustaches. As interesting as that is. We'll move on to other topics. That's pretty gross. Eddie's storyline in this episode seems to parallel Buck's. While Buck experiences a loss of a relationship, Eddie regains an important relationship with himself.
Eddie calls himself straight in the scene with Father Brian. That's the first time that 911 has put a label on his sexuality, and it seems to be there for the sole purpose of later disproving this. Huh. As a happy Eddie and a sad Buck quietly drink beer together in the episode's final moments, it could be very well signaling the beginning of something new for both of them. There you go. That's that. Oliver Stark and Ryan Guzman break down that risky and touching buddy final moment. That's funny. That risky business dance has been in so many different things. It's crazy. Entertainment Weekly will have more coverage of these big moments later. Blah, blah, blah. I think the strength of that scene and the strength of their bond is that they don't have to speak. They're both going through very different things, and they're both dealing with them in very different ways, yet they know they can do that together. And there's a source of strength there that has been built up between them. It's the safe space that they create for each other. Yeah, that's important. If you can be silent next to somebody and enjoy the presence, the time together or whatnot, without saying a frickin' word, any word, that is important. Buck is obviously a real mood killer because Eddie is very much on an upper. And then here comes Mr. Doom and Gloom. I don't know if they kind of pick up on each other's energy. They just want to be around somebody they know, they trust, they feel comfortable around. That's a true brother moment. And like true brothers, one doesn't even question why the other isn't wearing pants. That's so funny. Oh my gosh. He just blows right past me. I'm in my chonies, and I'm just like, all right, beer? Sure, fine, whatever. Guzman says with a laugh. So yeah, it's a good scene. The idea of Buck just walking in, not even questioning what Eddie's been up to, just handing him a beer. And these two guys just sitting down because he needed to have the support of a friend. I mean, he is in literally a button-up dress shirt with no pants. I mean, at a certain point, you'd be like, what were you doing? What did I walk in on? They don't need to talk. I think that their friendship is such that it's like, oh, you need me to be there for you? All right, here, let me pop a cold one. To be honest, I don't think they talk for a long time. I don't think they need to. That's not the point. The point is I need somebody right now, and I trust you probably more than anyone in this moment. So thank you for being here. Yeah, that's such a classic TV moment, movie moment, when the characters just kind of stare off into the distance and kind of do their own thing. And then, of course, the camera pans out. It's a beautiful moment. 15 best Buck and Eddie scenes ranked. Buck supports Eddie through his son's departure. That must have been brutal. Brutal. Yeah, that kind of encapsulates it right there. Despite Eddie's efforts to resolve things with Christopher, including calling Buck in for reinforcements, Chris called his grandparents in Texas and asked them to come to LA to get him so they could spend the summer away from his father. Buck, who had already attempted to get the teenager to come out of his room and talk to Eddie, returned from visiting Bobby at the hospital with Eddie and tried to get Chris to stay to no avail. The moment Chris leaves with his grandparents is a heart-wrenching one. Yeah, that's tough. Eddie and Buck steal the show at May's graduation. Buck and Eddie go treasure hunting. Season 4 was short due to the pandemic. Had a number of really incredible episodes. Eddie tries to cheer up Buck after Buck quits his job in what can only be described as an adult tantrum when he tells Bobby that he's no longer cleared to work in season 3, episode 1. Spends the rest of the week in bed. Classic. Eddie takes it upon himself to get Buck out of bed and out of the house. Needs someone to watch Christopher while he's at work. And who better than Buck?
Buck and Eddie get dosed on LSD. That's hilarious. Buck finds solace at Eddie's house. They were recovering from the lightning strike. Spends most of his day recovering, dealing with visitors sent over by his sister, Maddie. So Maddie's trying to help. Ultimately, all the visitors end up tiring Buck out, and he escapes to the only apartment he can relax in, Eddie's house. Buck shows up when Eddie needs him, as a good friend would do, of course. Buck arrives at the Diaz home to find Eddie huddled in his bedroom, which he destroyed with both fists and a baseball bat after learning that everyone he was previously in the army with, everyone he saved, earning him a Silver Star, is now deceased. Oof. Good grief. Buck comes out to Eddie. That's a big one. Eddie trusts Buck with Christopher again. Oh, the tsunami. Yeah, I think I reacted to quite a few scenes of that. To Christopher, Buck saved him, which is what Eddie tells Buck, and Eddie knows that Buck will do everything he can to protect his son. Eddie fights with Buck in a grocery store. That's interesting. Oh, Buck showed up to try to apologize. Eddie, who's still grieving the loss of his wife, who died in season 2, episode 17, frustrated with Buck's reaction to his injury, gets into an argument in the middle of the store. Buck and Eddie throw a bachelor party. Now that's funny. Oh, God. Eddie gets shot. Of course, that's huge. Huge. That's a big one. Buck gets hit by lightning. Certainly a big one. This 2000 throwback is perfect binge watch for 911 fans. Oh my gosh, Rescue Me with Dennis Leary. I remember watching a couple episodes of that. Buck thinks he's lost Eddie. Obviously not taking it well, as you can see. Eddie tells Buck about his will. Obviously writing that Buck will take over duties for Christopher, of course. Decided he needs someone to make sure his son will always be taken care of, so he changes his will. In his will, Buck is listed as Christopher's legal guardian if Eddie dies. No one will ever fight for my son as hard as you. You act like you're expendable, but you're not. Clear to fans that Buck and Eddie are family and always will be, no matter what the relationship ends up looking like. Beautiful. Very, very beautiful. Thanks for sticking around. If you did, I appreciate it. I hope you all had a wonderful time. I know I did. Excellent, excellent way to end the week. Lots of great edits, great videos put together beautifully. Shout out to all the ToddReacts.com members that selected those videos. I appreciate it. Your support is amazing, and I'm forever grateful. Go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Follow the Twitch channel if you'd like to watch live, or if you're watching live right now. Join the Discord. Lots of great people in there. It's a wonderful community. At this point, I think there's... How many members we got? 190. 190 members. Wow, we are almost at 200. That is incredible. Incredible. So join the community, join the conversations. There's lots of them to be had. Everyone's super nice. It's been really rewarding. So if you're looking for a group that, watches the streams with you, enjoys the same content as you,
certainly do that. Lots of great meetings have happened, of course. So I think you'll enjoy it tremendously. If you'd like to request your own videos and have them on stream and have me react to them, and all of us that are live right now, you can certainly do so. ToddReacts.com. The season and series tiers are how you do so. And check out the winter collection of merch available right now for a limited time. We'll switch over to spring and summer when time permits, when it gets a little warmer, right? Ships worldwide, 15% off for members automatically in your cart. And yeah, I hope you have a tremendous week ahead. Well, I'll see you in the week, but I hope you have a tremendous weekend ahead. Do something fun, do something interesting. If the weather's good, get out there, enjoy yourself, be safe, all that good stuff. I will see you right back here Monday. Take it easy, Rocco Kitty. Oh, geez. Well, I hope you have a wonderful work weekend, I suppose it's called. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, whatever you choose to do, whether it's work, whether it's play. I hope you have fun. Yeah, I will see you all back here Monday as we watch some more videos, one video at a time, enjoying the journey. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you on the flip side. Shout out to the mods that helped tremendously. Rocco Kitty certainly being one, Luke, of course, and Jace for all these beautiful links that we went through today. And shout out to all of you. Thanks. See you next time.